the bold and the beautiful forever. In the latest heartbreaking plot twist, we learn that Hope Logan, overwhelmed by career setbacks and personal betrayals, has decided to leave Los Angeles and start a new chapter in her life in Paris. But just as she's ready to leave her past, her family, her pain behind, a shocking revelation stops her. It wasn't Brooke who convinced her to stay. It wasn't even her own uncertainty. It was Steffy, a woman Hope has long considered her rival, who made the final emotional appeal. And in doing so, she revealed a truth so devastating, life-changing that Hope can't walk away. Let's dive deeper into what this means for Hope, Liam, Steffy, and the bold and the beautiful as the show prepares for one of its most heartbreaking emotional highs in years. For weeks, Hope has been falling apart. She's watched her dreams at Forrester Creations crumble under the weight of politics, favoritism, and creative sabotage. She's watched her personal life deteriorate, from her failed relationship with Carter to her growing emotional distance from her family. Even Brooke, the one person Hope expected to be there for her, sides with Ridge in the company's latest power struggle. And then comes the final blow, the realization that her life in this toxic, judgmental, ever-changing Los Angeles battleground was never meant for her. So, with Beth in her arms and a one-way ticket to Paris in hand, Hope decides to leave. To start over. To heal. To become more than just a pawn in someone else's power game. But fate, as it often does in the world of the bold and the beautiful, has other plans. As news of Hope's passing began to spread through her circle, Brooke Logan did what Brooke always did. She begged her daughter to reconsider. But this time, Hope wasn't swayed by guilt or nostalgia. Her mind was made up. She needed distance. She needed freedom. Brooke's plea, however sincere, only reinforced Hope's weariness with her family's cycles of dysfunction. But just as she was about to make a final decision, Steffy Forrester walked in not with an argument, but with the truth. And the moment Steffy walked through Hope's door, something changed. Because when Steffy spoke now, it wasn't with competition or condescension. It was with pain. And with guilt. Steffy sat across from Hope, her voice shaking, her eyes filled with tears. She explained that she was about to break a promise made in trust, a promise she had sworn to keep. A promise to Liam. Steffy has kept a secret for weeks that has been eating away at her. Liam is dying. He has an inoperable brain tumor. And now his days are numbered, literally. Finn confirms that Liam's condition is terminal and that whatever time he has left is short, precious, and fleeting. Steffy tells Hope that Liam doesn't want her to know. He doesn't want anyone to feel sorry for him. He wants his daughters to remember him as strong, smiling, present. He doesn't want his impending death to be a burden. But Steffy can't keep a secret anymore. Not now. Not when Hope is about to leave forever without knowing that her daughter, Beth, is about to lose her father. For a long time after Steffy finishes speaking, Hope says nothing. She just stares straight ahead. Tears fill her eyes. Her fingers tighten around the envelope containing her flight information. Her whole body seemed to collapse, crushed by the weight of this unbearable truth. And then she whispered, "Is he going to die?" Steffy nodded. "Yes, it is happening. Sooner than any of us think." Hope's mind reeled. Memories of Liam flooded back, his laughter, his fierce devotion to Beth, the way he always found a way to be there, even when their love was falling apart. And now he was gone. Hope's first thought was of Beth. How could she explain this to her daughter? How would a child handle losing a parent, especially one she loved so much? When Hope tried to talk to Beth, it didn't go well at first. The child sensed the pain in her mother's voice. She asked questions. And when Hope finally spoke softly to her, Beth cried in a way she had never cried before. "I don't want Daddy to go." There were no words, just arms, just sobs, just the pain of two broken hearts. Hope realized she couldn't leave. Not now, not ever, not when Beth was facing the greatest loss of her life. Despite the doctor's dire prognosis, Hope refused to accept defeat. She immediately began researching alternative treatments, calling specialists around the world, contacting medical professionals. She begged Finn to recheck the scans. She considered taking Liam to Europe for experimental care. Steffy, watching Hope go into survival mode, remembered why Liam had always loved her. Because Hope never gave up. But Finn had to be honest. "Hope, she's gone too far. There's nothing more we can do." Still, Hope wouldn't stop trying. Because if there was even a small chance, she would fight for it. With all that had happened, Steffy made her own decision. She stepped aside. She knew that Liam and Hope had an unbreakable bond, no matter how far apart they were. And though she had tried to make room for Liam in Kelly's life, she now realized that Hope deserved time with him. "He's still yours, Hope," she told Hope. "Whatever's left, whatever time's left, take it." It was an act of grace, of compassion, and perhaps, finally, closure between two women who had been at odds for years. Hope went to Liam, who was too weak to stand. She sat next to him, held his hand, and told him everything. That she knew. That she would stay. That Beth loved him. That she loved him. Liam, pale and tired, smiled. He thanked her. He cried, "I wanted to protect you from this." Hope shook her head. "We protected each other." And there, in that room, their love found peace. Not romance. Not passion. But real. These are two people who lived through war, coming together one last time as co-parents, as companions, as soulmates in a different way. While Hope remains in Los Angeles, viewers can expect a community rallying around Liam to celebrate life before the inevitable. Steffy and Hope becoming unlikely allies, united in grief and support. Beth growing up before our eyes, her childhood forever shaped by the strength of her mother and the love of a father who never truly left her. Brooke confronting her own guilt for pressuring Hope without knowing what her daughter was facing. Finn stepping back as Hope takes the lead, understanding that love comes in many forms. Hope is ready to leave Los Angeles. She thinks her story in this city is over. But some chapters require a final act. Hope's decision to stay isn't about sacrifice. It's about love. Love for Liam. Love for Beth. Love for the life she built, flawed as it may be. In the coming episodes, the bold and the beautiful will ask us all to consider what it means to love someone through goodbye. And it will do so with the grace, heartbreak, and emotional weight that only this show can deliver. Stay tuned. Because even when the sun sets, there's always a more beautiful, bold goodbye to witness. While fans are still reeling from Liam's terminal diagnosis and the emotional storm brewing around Hope and Steffy, another devastating chapter has just begun for Katie, the usually resilient, silently grieving older sister who has been the quiet force that has held the Logan family together. After a long absence from the spotlight, Katie has finally returned, but under the most terrifying of circumstances. It begins with a phone call. Donna, radiant and warm as ever, is busy wrapping up her evening when her phone rings. The number is unfamiliar, but what she hears on the other end of the line leaves her in shock. Katie has been in a car accident. A serious one. She's been rushed to the hospital in critical condition. There's blood. There's trauma. And there's a very real chance she won't make it. Donna doesn't even hesitate. She grabbed her bag and raced to the hospital, her heart racing, her mind filled with every horrible possibility. When she arrived, the scene was bleak. Katie was in surgery, barely alive, and the medical team offered only cautious optimism. Donna demanded to know everything. What had happened? Why was Katie driving alone late at night? What had caused the accident? And as the details began to emerge, a chilling picture emerged. Eyewitnesses at the scene described the crash as sudden and violent. Katie's car swerved into oncoming traffic and crashed head-on into another car. The other driver was injured but stable. But here's the catch. Katie was crying. Her mascara was smudged. Her hands were shaking on the wheel. And as the paramedics pulled her from the wreckage, she was still whispering a name. Bill. It was clear that Katie's emotional state was no accident. Something triggered her breakdown. And it seems that something was Bill. Though their relationship was fraught with broken trust, betrayals, and countless false starts, Katie and Bill had always shared a deep and complicated connection. He was the father of her child. He was the man she tried to hate, tried to forget, but never really stopped loving. Sources close to the family say Katie and Bill had spoken shortly before the accident. And it wasn't a pleasant conversation. Was it a custody battle? About their son Will? About Brooke? Or was it something deeper than a confrontation about past traumas as Katie finally reached her breaking point? Whatever was said, it was enough to send Katie into a downward emotional spiral that left her bleeding and unconscious in the ambulance. Back at the hospital, Donna paced the waiting room floor, unable to sit still, unable to believe what was happening. Her thoughts swung between fear and anger. She was scared for Katie, but also angry that things had gotten this bad. Angry that Katie hadn't told anyone how broken she felt. Angry that Bill, once again, might be at the center of a tragedy involving someone she loved. When the doctor finally left, Donna braced herself for the worst. And although Katie survived the surgery, the news was not good. She had multiple broken bones, internal bleeding, and a serious head injury. The next 48 hours were crucial. The words every loved one dreaded. We'll do everything we can, but we can't promise anything. Donna broke down. Her tears fell silently as she sat next to Katie, whispering promises, begging her sister to wake up. Fans of the bold and the beautiful have long noticed Katie's absence from recent storylines. While others have taken center stage, Katie has faded into the background with no big goodbyes, no finale, just a quiet disappearance. Now we know why. The writers are building to something big. And in soap operas, returns after long absences are never normal. They always signal a turning point, a catalyst. Katie's return may not have been a grand entrance, but it left a lasting impression. Speculation has been rife. Is this the end of Katie Logan? The timing is questionable. Viewers remember Liam's storyline building toward a tragic death, one that would impact multiple families, especially Hope and Beth. But now, with Katie in critical condition, fans are wondering, was Katie's death written in to replace Liam? Killing Liam would destroy Beth's entire foundation, after all. Rewriting the plot to shift the tragedy to Katie, though still heartbreaking, might spare the younger generation the trauma. This has happened before in soap writing, sacrificing one character to save another not in the story, but in the writer's room. When news of Katie's condition reached Bill Spencer, his reaction was as explosive as he'd expected. He rushed to the hospital, demanding answers, demanding to see her. But when he got there, Donna couldn't contain herself. She told him what the witnesses had said. She told him that Katie had cried, that she'd called his name, that he might have been the last person to speak to her before she was near death. Bill was devastated. He stared out the hospital window at Katie's broken body. The tubes, the monitors, the machines that kept her alive. And in that moment, the pomp vanished. All the power, all the control, all the money, nothing can save her now. With Katie in a coma, all eyes are on the next 48 hours. Doctors warn of possible complications such as brain swelling, infection, organ failure. But they also say Katie is strong, and if anyone can fight this, it's her. Still, no one can be sure. And as Logan and Spencer's families begin to gather, as messages are sent, prayers are whispered, and regrets pile up, the hospital becomes a place of reckoning. Not just for Katie's body, but for everyone's soul. The implications are huge. Will no longer have a mother. And he may have to spend time with Bill, the person Katie has sheltered him from for years. Bill is devastated. His guilt and grief could lead him down a dangerous path, perhaps even rekindling old obsessions or violent impulses. Donna is devastated. As the last of the Logan sisters still standing strong, Donna will have to step up to the plate and take on a new role as protector, mother, and peacekeeper. Brooke will be forced to confront her priorities, especially if her absence from Katie's life is highlighted later. The bold and the beautiful has always thrived on emotional turmoil. But this storyline is different. It feels raw, personal, real. Katie isn't just another character. She's the heart of the Logan family. The one who always tried to do the right thing. The one who forgave. The one who fought for love. The one who protected her son above all else. And now she's fighting for her life. Whether she wakes up or not, this moment will change everything. Because sometimes it's not the biggest explosions that change lives, it's the quietest tragedies. The phone calls, the hospital rooms, the promises whispered at the bedside. Stay tuned. Because the bold and the beautiful just delivered its most human moment yet. And we'll be here, step by step, to witness what comes next.